Yo, America woke up talking about remigration. You got white folks saying, do I need to pack a bag? You got black folks saying, hey, I got ancestry receipts. I ain't going nowhere. And Trump, well, he treating us like an Amazon return package. Let's get into it.
They call for everyone to go back home except for themselves. But if we're gonna remigrate, you first.
I have biracial children. I have a son who is half Mexican, and I have two daughters who are half black. But even if I did not have biracial children, this would be one of the most concerning things I have ever seen come out of the U.S. government.
I would think that we should band together and get rid of all the policymakers who have decided some foolishness like this.
Look, I'm not even here to pick a side yet. I'm just trying to figure out how we went from let's make America great again, debatable, so pack your damn bags. It's time to go home. Let's figure it out. Cue the clip.
This that Ramondo reacts, huh? Y'all came in for the laughs, huh? You did. Stay for the commentary cause it makes sense, huh? Real talk.
So the Department of Homeland Security decided to tweet this today, calling for remigration. And if you guys don't know what remigration is, it's essentially a right-wing talking point that calls for immigrants and people of color to go back to their countries of origin. It's picking up steam in places like the United States, Australia, Canada, which coincidentally are all countries where white people are not actually native. They call for everyone to go back home except for themselves. But if we're going to remigrate, you first. Go back to Scotland, go back to Germany, go back to Europe, and see how welcoming these people are towards you. White, but ignorant, monolingual, and uneducated. And then we can talk.
I have biracial children. I have a son who is half Mexican, and I have two daughters who are half black. But even if I did not have biracial children, this would be one of the most concerning things I have ever seen come out of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
I came across the Department of Homeland Security post yesterday morning, November 28th, that said that the plan is remigration now. And I did a deep dive into remigration. And I read Project 2025, so I know that the goal of the country for Project 2025 authors is an all-white country, a country that looks like me but doesn't look like my children. And I did a deep dive into remigration, its history and what it means. And I cannot overstate how important it is for us all to become educated on this.
See, this is what I mean. Politicians never think past their slogan. Quick to yell remigration, but can't answer a basic question. What about mixed families? In case you didn't know, America ain't as generic as you want it to be. We're all blended.
And to see, this is the time for us to stand up on the truth. Not just me and us people that match me with copper color, not just us. It's time for white people to stand up and tell the truth too. This is the time. I see these ladies in the comments saying that they're afraid for their own children. Why? You own social media, and if you're not aware, we are indigenous.
Talk to me.
If they just do a little research, then they would be able to easily know the truth, and all that fear should totally go away. But see, this is another thing. Anybody that's disgusted by a plan of putting people out that's a citizen, especially us copper-colored people who are indigenous here to North America or the Americas, however you want to say it, I would think that we should band together and get rid of all the policymakers who have decided some foolishness like this.
I like that.
Who would have seen this coming? To think that MAGA and Indigenous Americans are on the same page now with all this talk about remigration. I guess the part that I'm worried about is I'm not sure that Europeans see all of these white people in the United States as Europeans anymore, and I'm not sure that most of them would even know which country at this point they should be going back to, because there's been a lot of a lot of mixing and intermingling. So, you know, do they go back to England? Do they go back to France? Do they go back to Germany? It's really going to be tough. But I love that they're talking about this remigration, because this, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is what Indigenous Americans have been saying for a long time now, ever since the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria showed up on American shores. I go home, yeah, go back. But it's, I mean, and of course, I mean, look at this. You know, I'm gonna have to figure it out. Like, you know, there's the Scottish part of my lineage, and then there's the part from the Alsace-Lorraine region. I think it's somewhere between Switzerland and France, but honestly, I'm not even clear on that. So I don't know where I'm going to be going.
No lie, this one here threw me for a loop. Like, I thought of a mental picture of MAGA dapping it up with indigenous folk. But I guess if you can hide the truth because it benefits you, you gonna do it. But we all know who the original squad is, don't we?
President Trump wrote on Thursday, quote, "Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation." On Friday, DHS posted, quote, "Remigration now." As you probably know, this term has been used in different situations, but including by the far right in Europe to call for the mass deportation of non-white immigrants. How specifically does the Trump administration define remigration?
Well, President Trump has been working towards cleaning up the mess that Joe Biden left us ever since he came into the White House.
But how do you define that word, Secretary Noem? How do you define that word?
Well, first of all, we have criminal illegal aliens we've been targeting since day one. We have removed millions of people from this country already just in the few short months that President Trump has been president by making sure we're going after criminal illegal aliens that are murderers, rapists, and criminals, and getting them out of our country, bringing them to justice, and then encouraging people to go home. If you're here illegally and breaking our laws, you can leave now, and you may get the opportunity to come back someday. But if you wait until we detain you, and we will deport you, and you'll never get the chance to come back to America and visit us or become a citizen. We're going to continue to do that, go after those criminals, go after those individuals that came in under programs that were broken on the Biden administration and people who were in place and leadership in that crazy 4 worlds we lived through, 4 years we lived through before President Trump came in. Thank God we have a president now that recognizes that letting all of these people into our country that we don't know who they are is dangerous, that we let in terrorists, we let in criminals, we let in mentally unstable people. They shouldn't be here. They're going to leave, and President Trump is going to ensure that Americans become first and the priority, and that they're going to be safe on their streets again.
Secretary Noem,
the whole idea of remigration, which is, I recently found out about this dumb bullshit, right? So it's pretty much saying anybody who's brown, you're out, right? Yeah. It's pretty much mass deportation is an idea that was brought by the incels of the far right in Europe. And now it's brought its way slowly like a virus into the United States. A nation built on the backs of immigrants and on the backs of slaves. See, if this whole idea is your idea, right, to the far right, because you guys are watching this, you are my biggest fans. You are the ones that give me the biggest clicks. You fucking incel, unpatriotic, traitor-looking motherfuckers. If that's your whole idea, then pack your stuff up, buddy, because the only people that should be left here is the people we stole the land from, Native Americans, who by many decades and many years have been on the short end of the stick. It's funny because this whole dumb idea of, oh, yeah, let's take everybody who's not white and send them back to where they're from. And even if they're white, they can go back to their European country. Applying it here in the United States, it's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Honestly, I agree with them, except I would have put slavery before immigrants because, well, it makes more sense, but I get why he did it. But come on now, America can't agree on a damn thing. You know how many people can't find their car keys? And they're supposed to find out where they originally came from? I mean, what they supposed to do? Use Ancestry.com, 23andMe? I mean, hello.
Okay, I've been sitting back for a little bit and I've just been listening and observing. And I have to say this whole remigration thing has really just kind of gotten under my skin because there is no way that is going to become successful or fruitful in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't know why they think they have this this power to be able to completely reduce the United States to the white race that adheres to.
Do you know why this tweet from Homeland Security is so dangerous, calling for remigration? As a former history teacher, let me explain to you why you need to understand the context and use of that term specifically and what it could mean for the United States. Also, we told you this would happen, but let's get to the history and how it's even being used today in Europe. Let's start by going back in time to Germany in the 1930s. I know, not the best place to time travel to, but you need to understand what the Madagascar Plan was. This was a plan set up by the Yahtzee government that intended to solve the Jewish question, historical educational purposes only. Their plan was to deport them to the island of Madagascar, just to get rid of them entirely, because again, it was all about ethnic cleansing. They wanted pure Germans, and that population, well, they weren't really German. In fact, they didn't even see them as human, so the best solution was to get rid of them. Now are you starting to see why it's so dangerous that Homeland Security is using that term remigration? And it's also picked up steam recently in Europe. Let's go to Italy, where Giorgia Meloni, the current prime minister, is advocating for these policies and even put them into place. And just to be clear, this is taking off throughout Europe, not just Italy. It has been propagated by far-right groups across the continent over the past several years. But Italy is where it's actually starting to take off, as it were, because they do not have birthright citizenship. Being born in Italy does not guarantee you the right to live there or become a citizen. Unlike the United States, where we have the 14th Amendment and the protection of birthright citizenship. And by the way, the current administration is challenging that. They want to strip people of their citizenship and get rid of birthright citizenship to make it like Italy. So even if you have legal status here, you're living in a country legally like Italy, and you have a child there, that child is not guaranteed citizenship or even legal status. And in Italy, people are concerned that their children, even though they are there completely legally, could be deported to a country that they have never seen or known. And that's what they want to try and do here in the United States, because again, you've probably heard of something else called the Great Replacement Theory, propagated by far-right podcasters, news figureheads. I use that term loosely. This has been going on for decades, and now it's in motion. It was written down in Project 2025. You didn't listen, and here we are today. And now the Department of Homeland Security is blatantly dog-whistling white supremacist groups, far-right groups, by using the term remigration, which is just a fancy way of saying YT supremacy and ethnic cleansing.
Here's a hot take. Now, you may like it, you may not, but let me know in the comments. I think the real issue is we still treat politics as if it's a clean two-party thing, and it's not the case. It's an illusion of choice. And I feel like half the things that are debated wouldn't even be an issue if we had a real viable option that was in the best interest of the people. But I mean, what do I know? But until next time, if you enjoy the content, make sure that you hit that subscribe button to the right. And I am 492 away from my goal of 1,000. Man, I would truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And to love more dope content, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Until next time, I'm out.
This that Ramondo reacts, huh? Y'all came in for the laughs, huh? You did. Stay for the commentary, cause it makes sense, huh? Real talk.